Hello everyone. If you know somebody who's getting married, you probably want to make a rather special card, and I think that this card really ticks the boxes. It's a shaped card, you can see by the top here. It actually stands up on a little stand. It's three-dimensional like that. On the back it's got a sort of reverse image, a mirror image, with a space for you to write your personal greeting. And it's got lots and lots of decoupage layers, as you can see here. So it really stands out and makes an impact. It's really, really lovely. So this card is called The Wedding. It's part of a series, it's number 3, and it's by Val Knight. You can get it on craftshoeprint.com. And when you order it, you simply ask for it to be downloaded to your computer and it comes right in for you to print it out. It costs £1.20 or the equivalent in your local currency. For my ladies who are in the USA, just click on the pound on the top line of the website, turn it into dollars, order it, and it'll be in your computer in minutes, which is great. So I've also designed it for with a patterned envelope, and I made this from thin card to protect it because it's pretty bulky, it deserves a bit of protection. And I used one of the offcuts to make a little gift card here as well. So it really makes a very nice set all together. So let me show you how to do it. So we've already spoken about getting your download. When it comes into your computer, make sure that you save it somewhere because you might well want to make this more than once. There are 3 pages to the download. This is the first one. It's got the card front on. Here you can clearly see the shape. It actually looks quite three-dimensional, but you can see on here it's flat. It's just the way it's drawn. On this side there's a joining piece, and that's the bit that goes underneath, and it stops it from splaying out and not standing up properly. It also makes it nice and sturdy. So I'm going to just score this before moving on to the other sheets, because it's a lot easier to make the score lines when it's on a big sheet like this, rather than when you cut it out and it's wobbling around. So this joining piece is marked already with score lines: M for mountain, V for valley, V for valley, and the outlines here. So I'm just going to put my ruler on those lines and score them ready. I'm just using the back of my scissors. You can use a scoring tool or a flat bladed knife or whatever you've got that'll just dent the top surface of the card and break the fibres without doing any damage to it, without cutting through it. Oops. And that's the third one. So 1, 2, 3 score lines, and then you can go ahead and cut it out. On sheet 2, it looks almost the same. It's the back. You can tell the difference because it's actually got an oval decal here for you to do your writing, whereas the front has got a hanging thing that you're going to put a message onto, one of these. So this is the back. You're going to cut this out again. You'll probably want the message panel, and you can choose one of these lovely sentiments. From this day forward, Mr. and Mrs. Congratulations. Or I'm actually going to use the blank one. It's on sheet 3 here. And on the second card, the card I'm going to make for you now, I actually put the date of the wedding because I thought it would be lovely to personalise the card with the date as well. How special is that? So this is sheet 3, and these actually are all the layers that you can layer up with 3-dimensional foam to give it a decoupage or 3-dimensional effect. There are lots. I will admit that I don't use all of them, but I'll show you what the choices are and what the effects will be. So you've got your 3 pages there, and you've cut out the pieces that you're going to be using. So I've got here my scored card, and I've got my front and my back with the oval on. So I've put some double-sided tape at the top here because we need to join this together at the top like that. It's quite easy and suitable for you to use wet glue and just go trace around the top, but stop, just do a little bit on the top sides there, and then that's it. So I'm going to take the protective paper off here and join them together. It's just a little bit quicker with double-sided tape, that's all, and it goes together instantly. So matching up my first corner and across to there, that's looking good, and smoothing it down. So now we've got sort of I suppose a tent frame card. This is all ready to go. I'm just going to fold it now, but I'm not going to put it in till the end because it's a lot easier to decorate this when it's flat rather than when it's got this inside of it. So if you remember from the instructions, the centre fold here is a mountain fold, which means it's going to go up like that. I'm just going to burnish it with a bone folder or with a piece of plastic just to make it really sharp. And then either side they're valley folds, so they just come up like that, and the other side. And basically you're just making a letter W. Can you see? And that's exactly how it'll go into the card, with these bits down towards the bottom of the card and these tucked up inside. And this is what flexes and allows the card to open so far but folds flat when you put it into the envelope. So as I say, we'll put that in at the end. Let's get on with the decorating bits. So remember, the front is the one with this shaped bit here, and I've already cut out lots of those decoupage layers. The first one is a really big one that's almost the card all over again, except for the stained glass windows. For this card I'm actually not going to use that. I think I've got enough layers without it. So I'm moving on to the next one, which is the altar, really. There we go, and the bride and groom. I've already put some foam on the back. You can use just the little 3D foam squares if you like. I've got some tape, which was handy because it's quite a big one. And again, you line it up. Let's get the groom's shoes in place and then just press it down. And that's already starting to build up some of the dimension. Next I've got the bride and groom. We want them to be prominent again. So I've put 3D foam dots on the back here. I use some little ones for where the groom's head is, just to give him some support, for the bouquet on the bride's hand and for the bottom of the dress. Let's get that in place. Again, I think the groom's shoes are a good thing to start lining up because they'll look bad if they're not correct. There's the bouquet. There we go, looking lovely. Let's see what else we've got. At the side you can cut out these pillars again, you can cut out the vases, you can cut out the flowers. I've just shortcut and I'm just going to put on the just the flowers sticking out like this. I can get it the right way round, matching those flowers at the bottom. I think that looks quite nice. But as I say, you've got lots of choice in this kit, so go with it. If you've lots of time and you love doing things like this, then you can really have another couple of layers before you get to this bit. Looking lovely. Now I have chosen the sentiment for the top from this day forward, which looks really nice. But then, as I mentioned, I decided to put a date on it, which really personalises the card, and I'm going to pop that on. 3D foam pad again, lining it up. There we go. Turning it over, the back's going to remain plain, and this is the panel where you write, and there's an extra piece, so you can actually write it and you can put it onto 3D foam and add it if you wish. So now we're going to work on that centre joining piece that's going to go in the bottom here. Remember, we've got it as a W, so I'm just going to glue one of those side pieces with PVA glue. And I'm going to put it inside the card on the back with this edge uppermost and the fold towards the bottom. It doesn't need to go right at the bottom, can you see? I've lifted it up a bit, but it's important that you have it pretty centred. There we go. And then I'm going to add glue to the other part, which is going to stick onto the back part of the front of the card. So holding it down, I'm going to press the front of the card onto it. It takes, I don't know, 10 to 15 seconds to really take hold. And then try it out and it stands up beautifully. So that's the card, easy as that. I've also got the envelope to show you. Here it is. This is not part of the kit, but I'll give you the reference so that you can print out this curly paper. I think it cost something like 40p for the design, and I printed out 2 sheets and made them into an envelope. I printed it on thin card. Quite often when I do envelopes, I just print it onto printer paper, but I felt for this I just wanted to protect all these lovely layers a little bit more, so it's thin white card that I use there, and I use one of the offcuts to make a matching gift card. So I've got the envelope pieces here. Of course, I had to sort out the size. So from my 2 A4 pieces, I made this the front, and I made sure that it was just a little bit wider than the card itself, and just a little bit taller. Once I'd got the size I wanted, I then scored a line across the top and added another 5 centimetres, I think it is. Yes, 5 centimetres or 2 inches to make the flap. I've scored and folded it. So as you can see, that's going to be the front of the envelope and the flap. And I've just rounded off the edges a little bit to make it more interesting. For the back, you need to make the back the same size as the main part of the front of the envelope, like that. But then I added 1/2 inch or 1.5 centimetres to the sides and the bottom. I've scored along those lines, and I'm just going to fold them up now and burnish them. The side, the bottom and the side. This is all for the back of the envelope. And then before I put it together, I'm going to take some of the surplus card off the bottom corners, and I do that by just cutting through where the lines intersect there. So just take your scissors, go straight through that intersection and cut off a triangle so that you've got less card to worry about when you put your sides together. So then I put tape onto the right side here to join the back and the front together, starting with the bottom. So I'll take the protection paper off there and line it up from corner to corner. So, something like that. Just folding it to check I've got it fairly straight. That's good. Right, and now for the sides. Again, you just take the paper off, the protective paper off, your double-sided tape, or you can use wet glue, but be careful that you don't get it spilling over onto the inside of your card, or your actual card will stick inside permanently. And just run the sides together. That's not a very good match. I did better with the first one, but we'll leave it for now. And the second side, again folding that in and matching it down that edge. And you've got a beautifully coloured envelope that's the right size to protect your card. All you need is an address panel. So I've just cut a rectangle of card and I'm going to just glue that onto the front. Ready to send. There we go. Lined it up. And I mentioned that I've already curved the flap, and I put some double-sided tape on, ready to fold and seal it. So there you have it, a beautiful shaped wedding card fit for any happy couple to have and to keep, and alongside it the matching gift card and the envelope. So I hope you have a wonderful celebration. Thanks for watching.